Yeah, alright guys. I just wanted to do a bit of a video to just explain my life because I'm making a film, being an amateur actor. I'm making a film on bullying and the effects of it and how hopefully try and resolve it in some cases. Um, Basically, I'm 18 now, and 10 years ago when I was 8, I lived with my mum and my stepdad. Now, that stepdad came into my life pretending to be the perfect man, acting all great, trying to make him get close to the family almost instantly. And I moved from my childhood house in Heath Hayes in Staffordshire to Birmingham. Now, I first moved to my nan's, and when we were staying at my nan's for about 12 months, and while we were there, I noticed a difference in that was his name, well, still is. Bearing in mind I was only 7 or 8 at that point, I knew there was something that weren't quite right about him. And at that point I was really upset because I moved schools, I had changed everything, I had to start a new school and basically start a new life, which I didn't want. I wanted to be at home, but no. My parents got divorced, and then this magical stepdad came along. And when I was living with my nan, I knew his mood swings and moods were deteriorating. He had gone from being the happy chappy to quite a quiet, unreasonable man. At that point, his actions started to get pretty negative. They weren't positive at all. He started giving me verbal abuse, calling me gay, calling me a bender. Half of them words I didn't have a clue what they meant. He had two sons, Luke and Liam. One was about the same age as me, one was 2 years older. He then started getting them to abuse me. My own sister was too scared to say a lot from what I remember. She didn't really want to get involved because one, she didn't want to lose touch with my mum, and two, well, I just don't think she wanted to be involved. But for that 12 months it was nothing but abuse and, well, verbal. But it was later on after that 12 months my mum got herself a council flat house, and we all moved into that, me, my sister, the stepdad and my mum. She, then, that's when it got worse. Lee became very abusive, both physical and mentally, and was verbally abusive, and yeah, you can probably guess. By then I had just turned 8 or 9, I can't remember fully, but as ways of abuse, he was stripping me off to no clothing whatsoever and making me run around an entire council estate. Now, a man at that age should not do that to a child. I don't care who he is, I don't care what that child's done. That should not happen. He then started punching me, kicking me, getting his sons to beat me up in the middle of the night. He even went as far as swinging me over staircase banisters and swinging my legs to the point that my head was banging off the wall next to it. And by then, my mentality had changed. I weren't the same. I was wetting the bed and every night, literally every night. And my mum then started getting abusive herself. She was the slightest thing, the slightest child thing you'd do wrong, she would beat me to a pulp. There was one time when I went into school with 2 black eyes and an obvious broken nose, from what I can remember. The school immediately informed social services, who told the police. My mum was picked up from her house, I was picked up from school, and I was taken to a hospital. They stripped me down to just my underwear so they could see the extent of the damage that was done to me. I was scared from everything that had happened to me. I was worried that I was going to be in like a big gang full of God knows what. Like in a small room with a load of people around me lying on a bed in my underwear. I was frightened. But that's because of what Lee had done to me. Now, they had checked over everything, they had looked at the state of my body, and then I was left to sit in the room on my own with the doctor while the police and my mum went outside. I then told the nurse, in a very scared way, everything. I told them absolutely everything. Everything Lee and my mum was doing right up to that very moment. And then the police officers and my mum had to go and sit in a meeting. I was left outside with a nurse or doctor or someone of some point. And my mum later comes out, crying her eyes out. And then all I can remember was being in the back of the car with the police officers and my mum in the front seat, being told she was getting cautioned. Now, I went back to school, they dropped me back off at school. The guys I was friends with, because I had a lot of close friends, were just like asking loads of questions, where I had been, what had happened. I physically couldn't tell them. It weren't because I didn't want to, it was because I was scared. I didn't want even more trouble to kick off. I later then went home, was leaving school, walked out of the gate, and my mum and stepdad were there, and my nan. My mum's still looking very upset, and my stepdad very angry looking. We walked back home, and the minute I got home I was forced to get changed. And I went to school in a stinking school uniform that never got washed, literally. Greasy hair, bad odour, as you can imagine, because my stepdad, in his wisdom, thought I did not deserve to have a bath, so I had probably gone 2 weeks. So you can imagine the state I was in. And my stepdad picked me up and threw me on the sofa, turned at my mum and said, "So what happened?" My mum tells him that she got cautioned. The minute the word caution was said, he was punching me in the face again. I was thrown upstairs, sounds weird, but he had literally threw me to the top, halfway up. I ran in my room, closed the door, and just hid in a wardrobe. He burst into the room, he broke the door. Literally, he had kicked that door with so much force that the door had just gave him. He picks me back up by the scruff of the neck and launches me off the top of the staircase. The first time I can remember landing on my feet, and then he kicks me from the back, because I was only quite small and he was at the top of the stairs, so he had a good leg height. He kicked me in my back and I flew down the rest of the staircase, landed on my front on the floor, and then he dragged me from my back right leg across the kitchen carpet into the living room. I went to school the next day and I was getting changed for PE, and the teacher and the headmistress saw the state of my chest. I was immediately sent back to the police and social services that reviewed the pictures that were taken of me the day before to what had happened that day. The police went back round to the house and social services were basically planning on putting me into care. I stayed with my aunt. Well, she's my second cousin, but the amount of stuff she's done for me, she's known to me as the only proper aunt I have. and yeah, I stayed with her, and then my uncle's daughter took me for a day out while my mum, my uncle, my aunt, and my uncle drove to my mum's. I must say they were brave, but I went in there and they told But during that time I was bullied in school a hell of a lot because everyone kind of knew my situation and they thought in their best interest I'd get bullied for it. So years 8 and 9 I was bullied a fair bit by different amounts of people, but at the same time being bullied I still had my same good friends. Oh, actually I didn't tell you, when I was living with Christina I was bullied in school there, being called the white boy, had my head bounced off a table. I was even called a white chocolate bar by a teacher. That teacher was later suspended. But anyway, back to the story. I lived with Carol and Phil, and my behaviour in them 6 years, because I was there for 6 years, the longest one I probably had, my behaviour was, in my best opinion, terrible. Absolutely terrible. Because of my mentality, I was seeing CAMS, mental health service, and different other types of people. And I was still getting bullied in school. It never changed. There were points when I was told on MSN that a load of 19, 20-year-old chav lads were going to be waiting for me outside of school to beat the hell out of me. I don't even know what I had done there. I just popped up and somehow knew who I was. Yeah, but that called off. That never happened. Yeah, so 6 years on, I've left Carol and Phil. I now live independently in Rugeley YMCA. It's an average lifestyle because I've got my own flat, and yeah. Recently though, I've had problems with an ex, and her little mates, in their best interest, decided because I broke up with her, they wanted to chase me as many times as they could around Rugeley, saying they were going to break my legs. That never frightened me. They reckon it did, but they were far wrong. It did not interest me in the slightest. I moved on with my life, and in my mind, our relationships are in the back. They're far back, gone. I'm currently working for Amazon, and I do amateur theatre. We've just finished the producers at the Lichfield Garrick, and it was amazing. But to the conclusion to it all, I've had the little 15-minute pointer, but the 15-minute part is, and well, to the end of that, sorry, I'm confusing myself here. But to conclude all of that, I just want to say to everyone that sees this that no matter what you do, good or bad, bullying is wrong. All the people that are on my side and whoever else's side that would agree with me, you are good people. So all you people that do bully, think of other things to do other than that. Think of more positive, less aggressive things to do. Because I have a very close friend of mine who had a mate who recently committed suicide through bullying. That, whoever that person was that bullied her to a suicide, you do not realise the amount of pressure you have put one family through. Now, well, more than that actually, because they'd have been her closest mates that now have to live with the fact that she's dead. And to the guys that decided to take the mick out of the fact my aunt died, yes, you have hurt me. You've hurt me to a major extent. But she would not want me to live worrying about that. She would not want me to live getting angry over that. So yes, it has upset me. But you didn't win. As much as you like to think you have, you haven't. Now, you're probably thinking at this point, if you're watching, probably not, because you don't know where, well, you don't have me on Facebook, and you can't find me on YouTube, whatever. to the point that you've done that, you have not affected my life. You've hurt me, yes, by saying that, but I live on. I live on thinking of the positive memories I had of her. Now, just to get my own personal opinion into account, my ex was not a good one. She, as much as she liked to think she was picture perfect, she was far from it. I've had many in that time, don't get me wrong, but she was the worst. Yes, Yasmin, I'm talking about you. I'm sorry I had to name you, but whatever. Now, to your little gang that hang around Rugeley thinking you're all it, try thinking of doing something else more constructive other than going around bullying people, because it is not going to help you. I'll put my hands up. Yes, I said a lot of stuff I should not have said. I was in the wrong at that. But for you to carry it on, how can you live that kind of lifestyle? But it gets back into it that bullying and abuse to children or to anyone is wrong. It is a sin of the devil. Now, I don't see myself as religious, but I know them words are strong enough to know. You should never, ever bully anyone. No matter how hard you think you are, no matter what you do in life, whether you take drugs or you're the best guy in the world or girl. No one's perfect at the end of the day, not in this day and age. There are people out there that like to think they're perfect, but they're not. No one is perfect. So, to all them ones that do bully, think of what you're doing to other people's lives and to other families' lives. No, you could sit there watching this going, oh, I don't care, la-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da. But later on in life, when you're sitting on your own in a council flat with no employment, no work, and on the dole, you'll realise what you could have achieved if you didn't go down that road. Now, to pinpoint it out, there's one person I haven't really spoke about, well, not at all, and that's my dad. My dad, I still talk to him, I still love him to pieces. He tries to see my best interest, and he does a good job. He got me into the theatre, and he helped me by a lot of talking, getting the job that I've got, and that's Amazon. And he's always close by me all the time. Same with my aunt and uncle, and my nan and granddad. As for my mum and the psychotic stepdad, I saw her once about 7-8 months ago at a wedding, and I've never seen or spoke to her since. And in my best opinion in mind, that's the way it's staying. My stepdad, I've heard different stories. I've heard he's still living with my mum and he's still very abusive. But I also heard that he was in a mental institute for some time and he's back home now. I would like to think that he was in the mental institute, but I don't know. If he was, then karma bit you on the ass, mate. That's all I can say. But yeah, me and my mates have decided quite recently that we're going to be bringing a film out on anti-bullying because my mate is a very close friend and we do different acts, video acts. We've done Charmed recently, we filmed the entire series. Oh, series 3 I was in anyway. But we're going to bring out one about anti-bullying because I've seen and know too much to know that it's wrong. And I can think of the most perfect role plays. But I'd like to thank you very much for watching and hope that the story in a way, helps you see what some people that didn't never live a happy childhood, had to put up with. Now, yes, in life I've progressed, but at the same time I've gone downhill. And from now on, all I can say is keep my job, work hard, and do everything I can to make my family proud. And if you want to know more stuff, or if there's anything you're interested in, you can catch me on Facebook. Just leave a comment on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and I'll get back to you. I do have BlackBerry Messenger as well, but there's no way I'm reading out my PIN over a video. I don't trust that. I've watched on TV that you do have these people that they call the trolls, the internet trolls, and they aren't coming nowhere near me. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy the video and, well, enjoyed. And I hope you understand that bullying, no matter who it is or what they've done, it is wrong. Same with child abuse. There's no way people can do that. There's no way that people can actually live with themselves, happy to the fact that they've beaten a child up. So yeah, thanks for watching, and have a very pleasant evening to you. Thank you.